Manager of Macquarie University, and I'm used to training our members with presentation skills, how to talk, how to network, and those sort of fantastic things that somebody going to business or any kind of workplace environment where they have to interact with people is very useful. So I'd just like to say that was a very wonderful presentation by Edward and of course Joseph and Chris Borman as well, and you can kind of get a sense that in terms of presentation, there's very many different styles of presentation. And maybe you can kind of define or describe what my presentation style is. And I'm hoping you guys have your own kind of presentation style. So what I'd like to start off with is everyone just raise one hand up. Please. Another hand up. Alright, stretch a bit. Stretch a bit. Keep everything next. And start clapping. Alright. That was for yourself. Okay? That's for you, because you have been here since 10 o'clock and you're still patient, and thank you for being very patient with us. I like to tell you that university students have a harder time because we have very different schedules to high school. My class yesterday went on for 3 hours. That was just one class. So you can kind of expect that sort of experience to be kind of the university standards. Depends on what kind of course you're doing. So it's definitely a different experience at university. I'm really happy that you all get a glimpse of that today, especially if you've never been here before. So in terms of presentation style, there's a lot I can talk about, and I'm sure you guys are very confident, right? I'm talking to those among you who may not be so confident at presenting. So what I'm going to do today is something a little bit experimental, something I'm not used to and I haven't done before. So bear with me here, and of course everything will be online, so you can always catch up, and you can watch me later in slow motion if I speak too fast. So, so I'd like to start off with asking a question. How would you feel? Right? I want you to imagine. This is how I start. I get people to imagine something. Get them to think about the same thing I'm thinking of. Imagine you have the greatest idea in the world. Maybe it's a great idea for food bank. And it's a great idea in the world. It is so great, it's the best idea ever. And it's set to change the world forever. I don't care who you are or what, where you're from, but that heartbeat in your chest right now is going thump, thump, thump. Okay? Because you have a great idea, but you need support to transform that idea into reality. You need investors, you need partners, or you'll fall short. So imagine you're standing where I am standing right now, in front of 100 people or so, and they want to know what, they want to know why, and they want to know how. So how would you feel if you were standing right here? You said, how would you feel? Self-conscious, fantastic. That's a common perception. Who here agrees? Self-conscious, embarrassed, nervous, anxious, we got those kind of things. It doesn't matter what you're going to say. Whether it's pitching a business plan, public speaking, or debating, it's going to be a stressful day. Because they want to hear from you, your audience, and you have something to say to them. But there's something boiling deep within you, a little anxiety, butterflies that are going crazy, and your fingers are shaking, and your heart is again beating like a drum, again and again and again. So how would you feel? Right. But guess what? That's all completely normal. You may feel paranormal. You may feel awful even. This kind of sensation that you're having. And what's the mouse? You not see the mouse? Great. Thanks. Alright. That's the face of anxiety. Alright? It's a face that I shared many times. The face that I probably have right now. No. Because I'm masking it. Right? The thing about anxiety is that it's a mindset. And of course, when we talk about entrepreneurial mindset, there are different kinds of mindsets. Anxiety, fear, is two of them. I want to introduce you to something called glossophobia, which is the fear of speaking, especially in public. The United States of America, the biggest fear in the US is actually public speaking. Is that true in Australia? I don't know. There's no research on that. But I like to think that we live in Australia. In Australia, we are home to some of the damn poisonous animals and insects in the world. We've got snakes, we've got scorpions, we've got reptiles, we've got crocodiles, we've got sharks, we've got drop bears. And all these things, public speaking to shame. it is the least of our worries. Please tell me that's true. Great. Thank you. So I want to go back to the slide. I want to show you something Mark Twain said. Mark Twain said there are only two kinds of speakers in the world, the nervous and the liars. So maybe you couldn't see nervousness or anxiety in the speakers before me, or right now in me. But that's because we've learned to overcome that. We've learned to take our anxiety and put it in a little pocket and put it behind us, because that's not something we want to deal with right now. So what we project is confidence. Right? So I'd like to present to you 3 points on presentation. Should your great idea, your great entrepreneurial idea, take you all the way to the semi-finals, I'd like to leave you with these 3 things. There are 2 kinds of people in the world. Those who can present and those who have presence. Now my question is, what is the difference? Anyone? What's presence? Has anyone heard the term before? When applied to public speaking, hands up. Great. What do you think presence is? Having an effect on the audience. Fantastic. So having an effect on the audience is, it's not something that comes naturally to us, especially if we're shy, we're introverted, and we're not likely to speak out because we're not that, not that confident sometimes. So when we look at presence, it's something that you'll find in great speakers. It's something that you'll find in politicians. Maybe you know someone in your life, maybe a teacher who has great presence. Maybe you yourself have great presence and you acknowledge that. Right? So what you find is that those people with presence emit some sort of light. Not a glowing light, but an aura that's known to be kind of like charisma. Who knows what charisma is? Hands up, charisma. You know the word? You haven't heard the word before. It's the definition of presence. A charismatic person is someone who speaks without fear, who presents without fear. And people with presence are magnets of attention, right? Oozing with confidence and glamour and personality. You may be, I'm sure you've all been to parties, and you know that there's always one person at a party who is the life of the party. It's as if there's a spotlight around that person, as if everyone gravitates to that person. Who do you believe is that person? Here, really. One. Spotlight's on you right now, Mike. What's your name? Michael, are you confident?
Yes.
Great. That's a man of confidence. You guys can say confidence in a room full of strangers. That is a ballsy thing to do. So I'm certain that having experienced the speakers today, you will find that you have experienced presence. You have seen presence. Joseph has his kind of presence. His presence is going around the room telling you about Roman history. Fantastic. And Edward's presence is going at you and giving you an insight into his life, but also giving you a bit of humor as well. Because Chris Bowman had a combination of those 2 things. So you have seen presence. You know what presence is like. You can identify. But where do you get presence? Is it a spray bottle that you spray all over yourself until you develop professional swag? No, not true. But if you ever been in an awkward situation where maybe you're trying to speak to somebody important or someone you like, right? Trying to speak to someone you like, you don't have the confidence for it, you wish you had that presence. Well, at least, a spray bottle full of swag. So where can you get some presence? Well, here's the secret. You can't buy it. You can't find it. You make presence. Alright? You make presence. It comes from within. It's the kind of presents that you get on Christmas morning. The best kinds of presents are not bought, they're made. Right? So it's the kind of presents that you know to be more valuable than the rest. Presence is drawn from within you and emerges in force when you stop being afraid. So Amy Cuddy gave a fantastic TED Talk on YouTube. You can check it out. It's fantastic. Definitely change your life. It says that your body language shapes who you are. The thing is, it's something as simple as your body adopting a confident posture. And guess what? It tricks your mind into feeling confident as well. Who believes this to be true? Okay, so some of you may not be believing that. Well, let's do a little test. Let's do a little show. Everyone, please adopt a confident posture right now. Lean back, head up, chest out. Alright? We're going to do this for 2 minutes. 2 minutes, and then you're going to think about it. You're going to ask yourself, am I feeling more confident? Maybe you are. And I will prove that this theory is correct. It's science, by the way, so it's a true story. So, for guys, I'm sure you may be crossing your legs like you right now, sir. Beautiful ladies, you're staying straight up, posture, neck straight, breathing very confidently. And maybe in 2 minutes, we'll see how you feel. Right. And what Miss Cuddy says is that if you ever are about to enter a very high-intensity, stressful situation where confidence is key, what she says is that if you adopt a confident posture, if you stomp around like you own the place, right, you will feel confident in 2 minutes. And that's science. Don't believe me, believe science. Look it up. So, this is where we get to the more depressing things. Performance anxiety. If you think that your body can affect the way your mind works, in retrospect, your mind can affect the way your body works. The way you think of something, your body reflects that. And that's why we have a lot of people with self-esteem issues, for example, right? Or body image issues. Those sort of body dysmorphia, all those sort of issues that come when there's a loss in translation between the mind and the body. So when we look at performance anxiety, it's exactly the same thing. Nervousness or fear which prevents or adversely affects the activity being attempted, also known as stage fright. Who here does drama? I like to think that whoever does drama has a lot of confidence because you are out there, presenting your body in obviously scripted ways that have never been done before. You're acting, you're adopting a personality. And right now, I like to think that performance anxiety can strike us at any time, right? But will it happen to you? I know for a fact performance anxiety is very common with actors, with athletes, and with singers, okay? But will it happen to you if you stand here right now and pitch your business plan to a panel of judges with all strangers all around you? Will you have performance anxiety? I really hope not. And you shouldn't, because in a mindset, you shouldn't. Performance anxiety is the fear that you will not accomplish the one right way to do something. Right? If you're a runner, an athlete, you got to win. That's only one right way to do something. Maybe you came last, and then you failed. If you're a singer, you sing off key. Right? Does that make sense? If you're an actor, you miss your lines. And this is how performance anxiety drags you down. But if you're up here standing like this, well, the truth is, you're not going to have that. With the proper mindset, you're not going to have performance anxiety. Because there is no right way to present. There's no right way to speak. And as you've seen today, every one of us has a different presentation style. It's very, very different. A comedian, I call it a public speaker, right? A teacher, even I call a public speaker. All teachers here agree? Yes, fantastic. A politician is a public speaker as well, and you know them to be some of the best or the worst. Right? But what do these people have in common? Present, thank you. They're presenting. They are not performing. So this brings me to my second point. Public speaking is not a performance because you need to present to your audience with the spirit of conversation. Alright? It's a difference. Performance versus presentation. If you're a drama student, you may be doing performance. Fair enough. If you're here giving a business plan, that's a presentation. So let me emphasize that bit. A performance is a one-way street. Right? There may be a speaker and an audience, but they do not meet. They're on stage and they do their act, but their minds are on themselves, not the audience, and that's a fact. A presentation is different. The audience is key to your success. So present, don't perform, and you will be blessed. It is called rapport, the way one develops relation. Right? Look at them, smile, that's communication. So let's do a little something. Let's look at performance and let's look at presentations. And let's see if we can analyze the differences with a nice quote here. The success of your presentation will be judged not by the knowledge you send, but by what the listener receives. If you're a drama student, if you're an actor, if you're a singer, you're an athlete, you focus on yourself as a self-centered point of view because you want to be the best and you're afraid that you might fail. But if you're presenting, I'm not worried about myself. I don't care about how I sound like. I'm actually sick right now. I just took a strepsil so I can sound better. I'm actually sick, but I don't care. I am more focused on you and what you are gaining from this, by what the listener receives. So focus less on you, focus more on the audience, and they will engage with you, they will listen to you, and they will believe you. Talk to your audience, not at your audience. So, with their eyes looking at you, alright, make the eye contact. Even if you are the only one speaking, give them a reason to listen to you. So let's try this out. Staring contest, send the person to your right. And first one to smile and laugh loses. Now. So staring contest is not exactly the best way to keep an audience. But I'll tell you what it is. It's an opportunity for you to look at someone in the eye and test them. Test their resolve. If they laugh, they smile, they're obviously losers, right? But the way I see it, what you've done is you've inspired joy in them just by looking at them. Maybe you're very good looking. Maybe you're funny looking. That's why you laugh. But what's important is that laughter is an emotional reaction. So you've caused someone to have an emotional reaction towards you. Right, it's a silly little thing, but this is how you gain attention, by staring at each one in the eye until they feel very awkward. Very awkward. So you should be amazed, because what you can learn from that is the power of gaze. You smile and laugh because it elicits an emotional reaction from such an intense, brief connection. Sorry, I'm looking at you. And congratulations, from that, you've created presence. You've created an emotional reaction just by looking at them, engaging in them, and getting them interested in you. You've inspired them just by looking at them. It's that simple, isn't it? Alright? So people who have presence are not worried about themselves. They're not worried about what they say or how they say it. With lots of practice, they have come to the point where all they have to do is present. Alright? And you can think about it, that what makes the best presenters is not those who speak, but those who are heard. It's almost contradictory, but it's true. I can speak for hours, and you don't want that. I can say the most interesting facts in the world, but if you're not listening to me, if you're not hearing me, I've lost my, I failed my mission, right? I'll speak as I failed my mission. But hopefully you go home having taken something from this, and then my mission is complete. So, what makes the best presenters is not those who speak, but those who are heard. I would like to finish with the last point. In terms of structuring your presentation, alright? Might take a little bit of concentration, and then we're done. Structure your presentation with an introduction, argument, solution. Right? If you do any of those humanities subjects in business studies, you're going to write essays, and you know your essays always start with an introduction. So why not your presentation as well? When you come to the stage, literally, when you are standing before a panel of judges in your team, your team is next to you, consider structuring your speeches, your presentations, to deliver key, concise information in the limited amount of time you have. 8 minutes is not a lot. 8 minutes is not a lot. This is the best quote from Dale Carnegie. Tell your audience what you're going to say it, and tell them what you've said. Who agrees this is an essay structure? Absolutely. You all know that. In fact, you should know this right up to university, because you're going to still be writing essays in university. 1,000 words, 2,000 words, 2,500 words. Fantastic. Look forward to it. So, to start with introduction, set the scene, don't be mean, be clean and professional, be keen, don't be a machine, smile, give your name and tell them what you've seen, the context, the situation, what has brought you here, give your audience a reason to care. If you have your story, share. Word.